Good evening, guys. We're gonna be doing a cooking video because I am freaking hungry. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening and we got some good duck to make. I made this recipe last week. I wanted to try it out, see if it would work, see if it was any good. And boy howdy was I right. This recipe is absolutely fire. This is a Gordon Ramsay recipe that I saw when I was on Facebook. It just pulled up and I was watching it. I'm like, man, that looks good. You could probably do that with some duck. And I tried it and it was absolutely amazing. I will leave a link in the description to the recipe that he has. I made a few modifications to it because I'm running short on some stuff and I didn't want to go to the store, so may do with what I got. So first of all, you're going to need some duck breasts. So I've got some mallards and some teal. There's 3 ducks worth. Last time I made this, I made it with two pintail breasts and 2 teal breasts. So I got a couple extras here. It's gonna be absolutely fire. Believe me, you guys have to try this recipe. It will blow your mind. And then you got salt and pepper. And then we've also got some of this other stuff down here. You're going to need cherry tomatoes. You're gonna cut them in half. Whole bucket of those. You're gonna need thyme, basil, a head of garlic, half of a red onion. You're gonna dice that up. You're gonna need ciabatta bread. And in my version here today, I'm gonna be using red pepper flakes. This recipe actually calls for 2 chilies. I went to the store, they didn't have any chilies, so last time I made this, I used 1 habanero. It turned out absolutely amazing. So we'll try it with the red pepper flakes. It's probably gonna be about the same. And next, you're going to need some of this. This is sherry cooking wine. It doesn't taste very good by itself, but you'll see what we use that for. You're gonna need olive oil. You're gonna need some coarse mustard. Okay, this is a very important part of this. So this is stone ground mustard, that kind right there. You're gonna need some mayonnaise and some butter. So there's not a whole heck of a lot of ingredients that go into this, which I really like. It's super easy. You can whip it up in about 30 minutes. So stick tight and I'll show you guys how to make this. First things first, what you're gonna do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And you're gonna wanna get these ciabatta rolls. If you gotta bake them, go ahead and bake them, get them ready to go. And then what you're gonna do is get 2 of your pans on medium heat. And we're gonna focus on the one that is oven safe. You're going to need an oven safe pan for this recipe. So first thing that we're gonna do, since that's hot, we're gonna go ahead and get some olive oil in here. I don't know if this is too hot, we'll see. So we'll get a little olive oil in there and get that heating up, looking really good. And next up, we're gonna take some salt and we're gonna take some pepper and we're gonna cover the outside of all of our duck breasts. Freshly ground is probably better, but you know me, balling on a budget, that's what I got. So we'll just cover this all on the outside. I don't think you can use too much of this stuff. A lot of this will come off, but this is where the flavor is. Okay, now we're gonna flip it and do the same thing on the other side. All right, we got some good coverage on there. I'm gonna start with these bigger ones. They're gonna need to cook a little longer, but you wanna get a nice hot pan, get these puppies seared up. You're gonna wanna leave a little bit of space in the pan, and you'll see why in a second. Up next, we're gonna take a whole head of garlic. I've only got half of one, so I cut it up into a bunch of different pieces. You wanna just cut it in half, and you'll see why here in a minute. This is probably just gonna fall apart. But we'll make do. You wanna get that garlic kind of roasting up. It's okay if the papery stuff is on there, it's supposed to be. And now this is when the thyme comes in. We're gonna take a few sprigs of thyme, you know, probably 7 to 10. We'll toss those in the pan and get those roasting as well. So we got all these flavors kind of intermingling together. It's all out deliciousness. Believe me, you wish this was smell-o-vision. I'm gonna crank that heat up a little bit higher. That little teal breast is pretty small. Now guys, I cannot preach this enough. Do not overcook your duck meat, otherwise you will hate it. It will not taste very good. You want your duck meat to be cooked from a medium rare, or actually a rare, medium rare to medium. Anything over medium and it's gonna take on an off flavor, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be gamey, it's not gonna be good. So please, for the love of God and all that is holy in this land, do not overcook your ducks. I'm done preaching, let's get back to cooking. All right, these bad boys are looking good, getting nice and seared up. We're not looking to cook them a whole heck of a lot here in this pan, because what we're going to be doing is taking it and throwing it in the oven. Okay, moving on. We're gonna take this other pan here. We're gonna put a little bit of olive oil in that. We gotta get that going. Just a little dab, about like that. Tablespoon or two. And then we'll take half of our red onion and we'll get that going in this pan right here. All right, now we're gonna get up to my favorite part here, and that's when the butter comes into play. So we're going to move our duck breasts off to the side of the pan here. We're gonna move our garlic to the middle. I really don't have very much garlic. It works better if you have a pretty decent sized clove, but we'll make it do here. You take your time, put that on top of your garlic, okay? So you're making a little bed for these little duck breasts to sit on top of. We're gonna put the biggest ones on the bottom and the little guys on the top here. We're basically making a little bed so it's off of the direct heat. Now we're gonna take our knife, cut a few pads of butter, and toss those in the pan. Probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons will do. What you're gonna do is take some of that delicious buttery goodness and you're going to baste the duck breast with that delicious buttery goodness. Alright? Sometimes it helps to kind of tilt the pan a little bit, but that's where the deliciousness comes from, right there. And in we go to the 400-degree oven. Now we're going to turn our attention over here to this pan that we've got our onions cooking up in. You're going to be cooking those duck breasts in the oven for like 5 to 7 to 8 minutes. Okay, you don't want to cook them too long because when you pull them out of the oven, they're going to continue cooking. It's easier to put them back in and cook them up a little bit more than to pull them out and they're overdone. Otherwise, you can't do anything if they're overdone. When you do this, if you're going to use a habanero or 2 chilies, you're going to put that in there with the onions. So you're going to cook those until they're softened up, maybe 5 minutes or so. And then you're going to take your tomatoes that you cut in half, and you're going to go ahead and toss those in the pan right there. Okay? Then we'll add a little salt and pepper on top of that. Woo, look at that thing cooking up, looking good. What we're making here with these tomatoes in the pan is like a relishy type of deal. The only relish I've really known is sweet relish or pickle relish, whatever you put on a hot dog. But it ends up looking like this. Okay, so I'm gonna probably throw that in there. Just use up my leftovers, reuse them. We'll throw them in there. Next up is your good for this sandwich. So basically what you're gonna do is take equal parts mayonnaise and equal parts of that stone ground mustard, mix that together, and you're going to cut up some basil leaves and throw that in there. Pretty simple, really easy. It tastes amazing. It's great on any sandwich, and I really like it. So we're gonna let this cook. We got the duck meat in the oven doing its thing, and should be ready to come out of the oven here pretty soon. Got this pan on medium-high heat, trying to get things rocking and rolling, but it's looking really good. You really want to cook these up and get them pretty mushy, and then once these kind of start busting at the seams, you know, like they get all wrinkly and start falling apart, that's when that sherry wine comes into play. Alright, can you guys see how some of those are kind of starting to break down a little bit? Looking a little mushier. That's what we're looking for. Now we take a little bit of the sherry wine. It's kind of like a vinegary, salty wine. Stop. Okay, ducks are done. We're gonna go ahead and just put and a couple tablespoons, not a whole heck of a lot. Maybe 1.5 tablespoons in there. Go ahead and get that stirred up. And you're gonna just let that all cook down and get to be that kind of sandwich spread kind of consistency. Duck's coming out. All right, this relish is just about done. So, here's what we're gonna do. Take a little salt. Not a whole heck of a lot, just season it up. And then we'll take, I don't know, probably 1 basil leaf, and we'll get this thing cut up and mixed in there. What kind of sandwich would this be if we didn't have a little bit of a toasted bun? So what we're gonna do is take a little olive oil, drizzle that on there, get it worked in there nice and pretty like, a little salt, a little pepper, and we're gonna just throw it in that same pan that we cooked that duck in, get that nice and toasty. Now it's time for my absolute favorite part. We're gonna take this duck meat and we'll slice her up nice and pretty. I'm gonna do this backwards so you guys can see this. Ooh, look at that. It's kind of hot on my fingers. It's a little more cooked than I'd like, but it's not terrible. You want to make these slices pretty thin because it's a sandwich. So you're going to be eating it like a sandwich. Buns are toasted. I'm going to put that down there. And then we're going to get our delicious mayonnaise and mustard spread. Take some of that, put that deliciousness on there. Just like that. Perfect. We're gonna go and snag some of that tomato. A little dab will do you there. And then we'll take some of our duck breast. Get that on there. Nice and pretty. We're about on our way to duck heaven right now. And boom. That's a delicious sandwich right there. Well, I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I already took a bite. But what kind of cooking video would this be if I didn't do a taste test with you guys? Thank you, Duck Jesus, for sending these mallards into the decoys, because they're uber delicious. You guys have to try this recipe, like, not even kidding. Perfect amount of flavor, nice little subtle heat to it, and it just, they're so freaking good. So good. Thank you, Gordon Ramsay. You are the absolute money. He actually used filet, beef filet, when he made this. But guys, if you only deep fry or make jalapeno poppers with your duck meat, there's something wrong with you, because this stuff is just so delicious. Oh my gosh. I should probably slow down before I break my tooth on a BB. But the first time that I made this, it passed my fiance's taste test, and it passed it in about 1.5 minutes. So you guys need to try this. It doesn't cost a whole heck of a lot of money. It is delicious. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to see more cooking videos, be sure to let me know. I know I did a lot of them last year, and I've been waiting to kind of find some good recipes that I want to share with you guys. And I like to try them before I make them, so that I don't make one that it's not very good or I don't know what I'm doing. So like this one, I tried it, I made it once, tried it, and it was amazing. I had to share it with you guys. So if you want to pick up this hat, there's a link in the description to go over there and pick one up. But thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. You have to try this. You will absolutely 100% blow your flipping mind when you eat this sandwich. I will catch you guys on the next one.